Always. I think we are live, guys. It is 9 a.m. here in Los Angeles. It is Tuesday, the 11th of June, AD 2024. You can call in 1-888-775-3773. I wanted to get to this super chat from last week that I neglected to get to about Jesus, who Jesus is / was. I feel like I did not properly address it and read it. So that's one thing that I hope to get to today. The so-called Supreme Court got secretly recorded a couple of supposed Republicans, supposed conservatives. One's not conservative. He's the Rhino, Chief Justice John Roberts. And he was all politically correct. But Alito and his wife were also interviewed secretly by a liberal woman posing as a conservative Catholic. Terrible. So we'll get to that, okay? And what else? Somebody called Brittney Griner a deadbeat. Brittney Griner, the second most well-known WNBA player to Caitlin Clark, only because she was arrested in Russia. And somebody called her a deadbeat. What? Because of a child support issue and, you know, divorce and remarriage, fake marriage, both cases, because she's not morally straight. It's a mess. And I may show you this, I don't know. I may show you this screenshot. I don't have video footage of it at this point, but of a guy who was kind of shameless in promoting drinking responsibly, partaking responsibly in the pleasure-seeking, self-indulgence of, you know, drugs, which includes alcohol. No clips. Thank you, Nick, the American Anchor Baby. So I may get to that. We talked about drugs, pot, yesterday. And this guy may not have done pot, but he did other stuff. And he turned into a mess. Terrible. So all that and your calls, guys, if you'd like to call in. But anyway, everybody, let's get right on with the show.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey, guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, how you guys doing? I am fine. I'm wearing my white t-shirt. It's not white completely, but it has white ink on it. I'm hesitant to say WHM, White History Month, as if I'm going to get more shadow ban. But it says July just feels white. JulyJustFeelsWhite.com. JulyFeelsWhite.com. Not just feels white. JulyFeelsWhite.com. Nice. Or go to rebuildingtheman.com/stores to get yours. That's from that's courtesy of the JLP crew. Nice, huh? Nice. So let me get to a call or two, guys, before we get into this super chat that I forgot to get to from last week. Terrible. Jamil out of Ontario, Canada is on the line. Jamil, thank you for calling and holding. What is up? Oh, Jamil's not ready. The heck? What the heck? Brian in North Carolina is on the line here. Brian, thank you for calling. What's up?
Thanks, Hake. How you doing today?
Doing fine. How about you?
Amazing. All is well, man. I was on hold with Jesse, but I knew you were coming on, so I figured I'd give you a call back.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. I was at the beach this past weekend, and I saw my first sunrise on the beach at the age of 34.
Wow.
Amazing.
Okay, so you must be, like North Carolina, that's back east. The sun rises over the ocean back east, but
Yes, sir.
sets over the ocean out west where we are.
Yes, sir. That's right.
Was that Ocean Day? Was that World Ocean Day that you were out there?
What day was that last week?
Saturday.
Yes, but I actually saw the sunrise Sunday morning.
Wow. Nice.
It was amazing, man. I never seen anything like that.
Right on, man. So how did you live all these years? You're in like your 30s or so, I would guess, and you never seen a sunrise over the ocean.
I have no idea, man. I didn't even really think about the fact that I had never seen one until I was headed out to the beach that morning.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I'm 34 years old and I ain't never seen a sunset on the beach.
Yeah. Wow.
I saw some guys I was golfing with Sunday evening that I saw my first one. They said the same thing you just said.
Yeah.
But I wanted to admit, aside from the fact of it was just absolutely, just amazing, man. I never seen anything like that. So a question that came across my mind for the flat earthers out there was, where does the sun come from if the earth is flat?
It's a good question, man. Where does it come from? If the earth is flat, if the earth were flat, where would the sun come from? Where would the sun come? And they think that it's inside of the firmament. Some of them think that it's local.
Well, if they've ever seen it rise on the beach, you know that it's not local at all.
Yeah.
You could just clearly see that it's coming from around the corner and from a distance.
Yeah. From below the horizon.
All right.
Yep. Interesting, man. Very interesting. I don't know what their explanation is. I have never heard their explanation.
Yeah, hopefully somebody can call in.
I heard that I did hear that they think that it's a flashlight. I try to represent their perspective accurately and not just completely mock them. It's a big ball of energy, according to Derek.
No.
But is this ball of energy, is it like a flashlight that it starts to point away when it gets like down low? I don't know.
Me neither.
Such a dumb question, not understand vanishing point at all, says Falcon Ing. So vanishing point means that the sun suddenly goes real close to the horizon and then it goes so far away that it just disappears and becomes just dark. I don't know. I don't think that vanishing point has anything to do with that. Yes, says Falcon Ing. Huh. Really? So obviously, says Falcon Ing. Are you trolling me, Falcon Ing? Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Hake. I got to get going. I just wanted to call in and share that with you.
Okay, so explain sunrise, flat earthers. Thank you, Brian in North Carolina. Appreciate you, man. Take care.
Thank you, sir. Take care.
All right, bye. Terry in Oregon is on the line here. Terry, what is up?
Okay. Hi.
Hey.
I wanted to talk about Candace Owens' comeback, and I don't know if you saw it or not, but I know we talked about her before, so I thought it would be fun to catch up.
Had we? You and I had talked about this woman?
Yeah, I think that was the first time I called your show.
Oh, really?
I think so. I may be wrong. I don't know.
Okay. I know that there's this black gal. Those of you who don't know, there's this black gal. She used to be called Red Pill Black. And she used to be a liberal. And I heard that she used to dox conservatives because she was such a militant liberal. And now she's a militant conservative or something, for lack of a better word. Right-winger, I guess you might call her. She's since married a white British man, Englishman, over there, and had a baby or two, right? How many?
Three babies.
3 babies, hey. mixed babies, of course, because she's black and the husband is white. And she's still out there, and she's been, affiliated with different mainstream conservative acts. They get all excited about a well-spoken black gal who's somewhat on their side. And so she's made a comeback, huh? Comeback from where? Oh, yeah, because there was this big controversy between her and some of these, she was affiliated with the organization that's affiliated with Jewish people. And so there's this one.
We don't have to name the conservative outlet.
Right. There was this one conservative, semi-conservative Jewish outlet that fired her because she was acting all on her ego, and they thought that it was anti-Semitic or something like that. And
I guess
something. Yeah, we don't even know, nor is it really our business why they let her go, because that's their business. So she's coming back. So she's still going at it, not taking care of her kids.
I know. I was shocked, but she launched her new channel yesterday.
Oh, man.
I was like, okay, I got to see what Candace is up to because, I have mixed feelings
in order to
her.
Judge her. Terrible.
I know, I'm terrible. It's the devil in me wanting to keep up with Candace.
You have mixed feelings about her?
Yeah, I like her, but I also find her irritating, but I also admire her, but then I'm also not sure about how she's living, and
that's how I feel towards her, but I don't pay any attention.
Well,
because I don't know, it's her business, it's her life, and I don't find her that fascinating. Yeah, I just haven't paid much attention ever. I don't know. I know that she was against the vax, and she made bold claims about that, and now she's on a mission on a similar ego trip, seemingly, about Israel or something. I don't know, something like that.
I don't know. I didn't finish watching her new episode because the first half of it was just her. It seemed like a really big ego trip she was going into, how she got fired, but it was very emotional, and it was kind of manipulative how she was describing the situations that went down with her and these men, and I was like, man, this is an ego trip for her, isn't it? It's not. She's not. I expect her to address getting fired because it was a big controversy, but I was also kind of disappointed that.
You disappointed that she was on that ego trip and being like, "Look at me, I'm coming back, can't keep me down," type stuff.
I was like, man, Hake was right.
Interesting. I don't even remember our conversation about it. About her. That's to be expected for a young person nowadays. They're not even a young so-called conservative person to be, especially a woman, they're encouraged and worshipped and celebrated because they're somewhat conservative. They get this extra credit for being among the minority of conservative this or that group. And so it's partly created by other people. And because they're weak and subject to people's opinions, they're going to fall into that. And her husband apparently isn't putting the smack down, if you will. That's cracking the whip. I'm searching for the right terms.
Try with her. I don't think it would go over very well.
Well, it's not that he has to be forceful about it. He just draws a line and says, okay. He takes the kids or whatever. But men aren't like that nowadays. Because you can there was a man who called into the Jesse Lee Peterson show who realized that his girlfriend, whom he was living with, unfortunately, he realized that she neither obeyed nor even respected him. And so he said, okay, it's over. You know, we're putting you out. It didn't mean that he was a respectable man, but it was a respectable act that she can't help but respect that. She has to leave. So that's what I mean. You don't even have to have you don't have to miraculously have this strong personality that you know how to dominate a bold black woman. You can just do what's right and not be moved, intimidated, nor charmed, you know, nor seduced. You know what I mean?
I suppose. I mean, I'm a female, so I can only understand it from my frame of reference.
Well,
you know,
I
try to do the right thing. So
yeah, there are men who are kind of weak, but if they just do right, then there's nothing but respect because she's gone. Like she not allowed. He's showing some self-respect and actually showing love for her by not putting up with that, rather than false need for her by staying with her.
Well, I don't know their situation.
Oh yeah, I'm not talking about her specifically. I'm just talking about in general.
He doesn't have a problem with how she is or what she does. I'm sure
he doesn't know it. Maybe.
Maybe he doesn't know it.
Because if you and I both know it's kind of wrong, and she's on an ego trip, and it's out of order, then he probably. I was feeling wrong listening to it. I was like, oh, yeah,
this doesn't sound right.
Terrible. You were enabling her by giving her ratings.
I didn't rate the video.
Oh, well, I mean, you were one watching, though. That's ratings. As a viewer.
How could I not watch?
I didn't watch it, but you were somewhat interested. Was she part of your waking up from being communist or something?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, I didn't think so. That's funny.
No, I don't think I've really learned anything from her politically.
I know one guy who says that he did. He he credits JLP and a bunch of these other like black, I think, hosts. So he says, "Stop talking about that woman." Oh yeah, because I have talked about her. I've kind of bashed her. I mean, I have bashed her, sort of. In good fun. You know how I am. All my bashing, for the most part, unless it's like Joe from Phoenix. Yeah, unless it gets personal, and you can kind of tell. But it's like all in good fun. Only the sensitive people overreact to that and think they project their hatred on me when I'm not even really caring. I'm just saying something in good fun.
Yeah. No, she wasn't. Yeah, I wouldn't say I've really learned anything from her. She's kind of always been a bit. I don't know. I haven't really delved that much deep into her work. She's done some documentaries I haven't watched. I just kind of would watch her commentary and find her funny, but a lot of it just was I don't know, not really that relevant or interesting. And now I'm just kind of like watching. I'm like, well, what is the point of continuing in the same vein when you've got like 3 small kids, and is this what you want to be doing? And you know, what kind of example is it setting? And then I don't know. I'm just I'm feeling all kinds of ways about it, I suppose.
It is it's an example of what not to do.
I guess, yeah. But
because it just shows that the conservatives are not really conservative. The Christians are not. I don't know if she's Christian, but the women the women are still not women.
Well,
they're not ladies.
What does that mean?
They're not. If being a woman, being a lady in the conservative world, you'll be quiet. You know. You'll do what's right. If you care so much about family, and you have one, be a family woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Well,
Nice.
I don't know. I just thought it was interesting that she's back and seems to be even worse than before. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I probably won't continue watching
That's what
her,
attention does to a lot of times to people.
but,
People will get
yeah, it
poisoned.
can pervert you.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah, it'll expose you, and you'll be. There was this guy who called out a his fellow man, sort of decent man, and just was on a absolute ego kick against this decent man on a stage that I saw, a panel discussion, a men's panel discussion. And this was like the fittest, strongest man there physically, calling out the fattest, who wasn't that fat, but fattest, most out of shape man who was a Christian, and talking about being a family. He thinks being a man is having a family and being the man for your family, the father and the head of your wife. And he's like, how much money do you have? Look at you, you're a fat slob. And he was just exposing himself as full of ego. And that's not being a man. That's not being a good example. Terrible.
There's a lot of negative examples out there.
Indeed.
I think a lot of people are lost.
Yeah.
You know, and they're grasping for like tradition or, you know, because Candace she's very strong in her profession of Christ, but I was listening to her and I'm like, this is so egotistical. This is so.
Yeah, where's Christ in that?
I know, and it's not that I think that maybe what she went through wasn't maybe unfair. But I don't know. Like, and she also was employed by the people she was, and if they, you know, weren't comfortable working with her, then, you know, things happen. It's
right.
Not,
yeah, it'd be the classy thing to do with a split up of a business relationship is wish them well. You'll hear Trump say, "We wish this person the best. He's going his way. We wish him the best." And he'll bash them maybe afterwards if they're in a public spat. You know, if the guy goes after Trump, then he'll go after him. But in general, you're supposed to thank them for the benefit that you got from them, and say nothing about it, because it's not anybody's business. All the nosy, evil people want an extra excuse on top of all the excuses that they have to hate the people whom they don't like.
That's true.
So it's just a bunch of gossip and mess and fake judgment.
That's true.
Yeah. Terrible.
I know.
It's no wonder evil is winning, because the good is not actually good.
The good is counterfeit.
Yeah. Terrible.
Or people, they fly in the wrong flag, not really recognizing that what they're doing. I mean, this is the thing. People get possessed and they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So we can't judge them too harshly either. We just have to see it.
Indeed. Yeah.
Well, I'm seeing it here.
Right on. Nice to hear from you, Terry. Appreciate it, as always.
All right. Thank you for taking my call.
Of course. Bye.
Bye.
Luke in United Kingdom. Luke in England. Is it England that you're calling from? Not to dox your location. Are you there? Oh, no. Luke is...
Hello.
I was going to tell you, you boomer, come off of mute. How you doing, man?
Sorry about that. Yeah, I am calling from England.
Hey.
But I'm unfortunate to be a Zoomer.
Oh, unfortunate? How is it unfortunate?
I was just kidding.
Oh, okay.
For a boomer, maybe.
Yeah, the boomers judge the Zoomers, and this I remember the boomers judge the millennials. And then the Gen Xers are kind of caught in the middle, I guess. And the Zoomers and millennials judge the boomers, and it's a big mess.
Yeah, it's complicated.
Yeah, for sure.
So I kind of wanted to get your opinion on something. that I talked to with Jesse Lee Peterson last week.
Okay.
Are you able to weigh in on anything like that?
I can weigh in on a topic that, or whatever.
I brought up that I think his stance about, I guess somebody randomly super chatted something referring to Jewish people as small hat people.
Right.
And he said that if you call them small hat people, that means you hate them. And I just thought that was very like flagrant of a stance to have. I mean, I don't like. I've never made a joke like that, but I don't really find that to be that problematic of language to use about people, especially given the language that a lot of people use against white people or their ilk nowadays.
But the language that's used against white people, he didn't say that specifically, but I remember that incident. I read Super Chats on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, and he took the overall tone of that and specifically that name for them as a sign of hatred or disdain or whatever. And the names that are given to white people, does that have anything to do with whether that is a disdainful term for them, for the Jews?
I think that really is just so subjective. It could be, but it really depends on.
But white people, the names that are given white people has nothing to do with whether that using that term for the Jews is disdainful or not.
Oh, yeah, I guess I do agree with that. I mean, it's really two different things.
Yeah, because you don't want to be like, oh, well, they call us this racist or whatever, or white supremacist.
Yeah.
And a lot of the
That's a good
Jews
point.
do. And that's not a reason to return evil for evil. And you
I don't think
you disagree
Jewish people
with.
are that offensive towards white people, though.
You don't think Jewish people are act offensively toward. Wait, you don't think Jewish people are hateful towards whites?
No, I know that some are, but I think a lot of them tend to just mind their own business. When you compare that group, maybe those percentage-wise to other minority groups in America.
I don't know. I couldn't say, because I know that a lot of them tend to be liberal, and a lot of them tend to believe all kinds of crazy things because of the victimhood
Yeah, that's interesting.
stuff.
It's so interesting because I went to school with a lot of women that are Jewish.
Okay.
And they're like defending, they defend Palestine.
Right.
And they want to go out and protest and stuff. And I'm like, where's the cognitive dissonance here with which side you're actually relating to?
Yeah. Well, they think that they're just standing for what's right because they have like this mama spirit and victimhood mentality. And a lot of them are like, because they hate, they're liberals, I would guess, right? These Jewish women whom you knew or know?
Assuredly.
Yeah, and Bibi Netanyahu is a nationalist and comparatively conservative. Like George Soros hates Netanyahu, and Netanyahu, from what I heard, he may hate George Soros. George Soros being a liberal Jew, and Netanyahu being more like friendly with Trump and not friendly with Obama type stuff.
Yeah,
I heard
the
that
rhetoric that's used. I'm sorry.
I heard that normies like me, and not that I'm full blown normie anymore, but normies like me and normal like conservative boomers, they know about George Soros, according to one of my former guests, because of Netanyahu's propaganda, according to them.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, you were about.
Yeah, I think. I'm sorry. Yeah, what I was going to say was I think a lot of the rhetoric that's used and what people would say is like anti-Semitic podcasts or talk shows or any sort of pundit that is deemed that title is that when their backs up against the wall, George Soros, Netanyahu, they're going to band together against what the goyim, as they might say, rather than like having their political strife cause tension. When it comes to the last resort, it's their religious, patriotic, what's the word? Fervor, maybe, that keeps them united.
It's more ethnic than religious, honestly.
Yeah, I know. That's the real.
But whatever it is, it's an identity. It's like a false identity. And that's why it's like a shallow worldly identity. And that's why a lot of us have been leery about different blacks and different Hispanics and Jewish people and women and all that, accepting them as among like the white Christian conservatives, because they go team woman or team immigrant or team whatever when push comes to shove. So that definitely happens. Yeah. Not that they even band together, but they both agree against. For example, a lot of them didn't like Trump, especially at first, and a lot of them are quicker to turn on Trump because I think that it's partly a intellectual. They're more intellectual. They're intelligent somewhat, but they're also very intellectual, and they can't understand the simplicity of Trump, who's just a simple man standing on the basic truth. He's just...
Well, I think the thing is with Trump is that simplicity is how society could really function in a way that's beneficial to everybody. But a lot of the complexities that they've put in to our society, just all of Western society in general, has made things far more complex, which will make some people rich, but it's also done things like destroy the middle class, specifically with things like starting the Federal Reserve. And I was watching great piece the other day about, how students would band up and they wanted to end the Fed. That was a huge thing in the 70s and 80s. And now, I've asked some of my former college alumnus, like, hey, what do you think about this idea? They don't even know what the hell I'm talking about.
Yeah, with the Fed, I barely even comprehend it. I know that there's central banks and things like that, and I know that there's fiddling and they're not very nationalist because they work with all these other they fund both sides of the wars because they can make money off of both sides of the wars, do loans for rebuilding and make money in all kinds of ways that may not even be, that are immoral, really, kind of.
It's funny you say that. I think Glenn Greenwald, in an interview, he deemed himself an anti-nationalist, that he was working in the world's favor, and he was the
he's that.
Of the Fed.
Wait, not Glenn Greenwald, Alan Greenspan. Glenn Greenwald is
Greenspan.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, sorry.
That's funny. Look, Glenn Greenwald.
My Zoomer mind got him confused.
Yeah. He's like this. I think he's Jewish. He's not morally straight, but he's a relatively independent thinking journalist guy. Not him.
Yeah.
Alan Greenspan. I knew Alan The only reason I knew Alan Greenspan's name is when I was a senior in high school, I took some government class. We're supposed to take civics or whatever. And so we always knew that who's the chairman of the Fed? Alan Greenspan. Not that I knew what chairman meant or Fed meant, but I knew that it was Alan Greenspan. But anyway, he's a world citizen, an anti-nationalist. I heard that. Yeah, somebody in the Fed, there was leaked information recently that Big Bump sent to me, one of my former co-hosts, or one of my sometimes co-hosts, who said that they work against crazy policies like Trump, and they push the DEI stuff in the Fed and in policy stuff. It's crazy.
Isn't it unfortunate that the American public has allowed this to go on for over 100 years now?
Yeah. And some of it is like baffling to us. Like, it's still baffling to me. I don't really comprehend this issue. But
I work with a lot of government employees, and they've just totally been drinking the Kool-Aid on this stuff.
Yeah.
They don't understand it more so than, any quote-unquote normie might. But they just know that it's a good thing that works in their favor and that's eventually going to pay off their whatever bills they have and, going to get them their retirement bonuses and all that.
Terrible. You said a word called middle class, destroy the middle class. And JLP said something similar about how in like communist days or something. Yesterday, he was talking about it. There was, like in El Salvador, there's just the rich and the poor back when he visited El Salvador in the like maybe 90s or something. And he said that it's like there's the servant people and then there's the rich people and there's nothing in between. And I disavow the term middle class because I think of that as like a communist buzzword. But and also I don't like classes, the word class, because they want to introduce like class warfare and all that mess. Whereas if it's just people and you're free, then you're free to be poor or you're free to be relatively rich or really rich or whatever. So I don't like this, but we don't have that freedom right now. We have all this mess and this whole system that's propping up a whole lot of people so they're invested in keeping it. Terrible.
Yeah, that is the truth. I mean, it's really unfortunate how these people, especially that work for the government, have their minds absolutely warped and twisted.
Yeah.
And
they think totally differently.
The other problem, what's that?
The government workers and the DC types for here in America, the Washington DC types, the politically correct area, they think completely differently from how normal Americans think. A normal person would think, because they're in this artificial world. It's like the education world. You know how when you go into the different university worlds, they're in their own little world. They don't even really, because they're funded by all these weird government things and all that stuff.
Yeah. At the long and short of it, I think it's just entitlement. You know,
yeah.
They're getting our money. They look down on us. You know, we are literally paying their salaries. And, you know, back in the 1700s, we were dumping tea off a harbor because of a 1.5% tax imposed on us. And now we're, you know, emptying out half of our wallets for these government employees.
Yeah. And they just keep on expanding the number of government employees. So those government employees, they're liberals because they're for the big government. They're overwhelmingly for example, Hillary, and overwhelmingly against Trump. You think those government employees are going to work for Trump? No, they're going to work against him. And same thing with anybody else who's sensible.
You're so right. And it's a shame to see people like that would work against the president in positions like our military and our embassies across the world.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where you get into actual war instigating foreign diplomacy, is when you have two drastically different or really at odds instigating almost more than instigating, mindsets that are supposed to be working in unison.
Yeah. Terrible.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
I guess we just have to suffer under it. Well, I mean, we don't have to even suffer because it doesn't really affect me except in ways that I can only imagine, you know. We can only imagine how things would be if things were right. But the world is evil. The world's kind of supposed to be evil. So we can't really be mad about it. It doesn't have to be this evil, but that's what it is because of our parents, grandparents, and everybody else's parents and grandparents. And then the young people today are getting more of a say than they should. The young suckers, except for you.
No, I mean, I think that's really well said. I mean, when I deal with these kinds of people, I'm not upset. I try and like play at it a little bit and be a little bit lighthearted and, you know, make a joke or something like, hey, do you think, your retirement plan is that going to benefit the taxpayers? And I think some of them, it actually gets them to do like a double check. You know, it kind of makes them reflect on like, hey, what have I actually done to deserve this money that, you know, was given to me by my country?
Yeah.
And some of them, they just get more upset, and I have to leave that alone because that might put my job at risk if people get too upset. So it's a balancing act of kind of helping people wake up and not pissing off the wrong people. Yeah.
Nice, man. It's good to, definitely you want to be wise. And that's why I like JLP's messages of stay away from anger, because then you can be a light in the world rather than a bunch of dark, evil, supposedly conservative, supposedly right-wing or whatever, awake people. You're not awake if you're alienating people. unnecessarily.
People that take their fake jobs way too seriously is
Yeah.
how I say it.
True.
I don't know if JLP ever takes requests for people on the fallen state.
Oh yeah,
But,
send your tips to the easy email address to remember is producer@jcleepeterson.com, or go to
Okay.
don't drop any names here, but send if you go to thefallenstate.tv, there is a contact form that you can send a tip, or you can contact the producers.
Okay, great. Yeah, and maybe I'll send a super chat if you're reading them that day. I think you read them every day, don't you?
Yeah, I read super chats as well. If you have a comment, I don't recommend sending tips through the super chats because we don't read like guest tips or guest requests or things like that on air for the super chats. But we do thank you for your super chats if you happen to do it that way. But we just won't read that on air, just so you're aware. You'll see it. You'll see it if you go to buymeacoffee.com/JLPtalk.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll see the instructions.
I just wanted to hopefully bring up this conversation again of.
Oh
JLP
yeah,
needs to stop.
definitely.
So vividly defending the Jewish people.
Yeah, call in. Feel free to call in again about the topic if you feel you hadn't gotten clarity on any particular question from him. It's not even necessarily defending the Jewish people. It is addressing the hate in the heart within, the pride, the hate of the heart within, because a lot of whites who have a problem with Jewish people are traumatized by this false accusation of hate, or this hypocritical accusation of hate. You know, they say hate. They say hate just for speaking facts or telling the truth, you know? The truth is not hate, they say. But a lot of times, if they really examine themselves, they are hating. They are angry, prideful, whatever. And that's something that you have to address within yourself that's more important than even calling out the Jews, in my opinion.
Definitely. I mean, I think that anything that induces that anger within somebody points not to the group that they might be angry with, but it points to themselves.
Right. Yeah.
That's not the message that I'm trying to elicit. The message that I'm trying to elicit is just by focusing on the truth and having an entirely unemotional perspective on it.
Nice. Cool, man. Well, great call. I appreciate hearing from you, Luke in UK. Call me again, Luke in England. Are you an Englishman?
No, I'm an American.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, you sound American.
Yeah.
All this time, it never even sank in that you're American sounding.
well, next time, mate, I'll call with me accent.
That's funny. I'm a little slow. Appreciate it, Luke.
Yeah. Have a good day.
All right, you too. Bye. That is funny. I'm shaking my head. Okay. I want to read this super chat, guys. Speaking of Christ. Christ is king. Oh, I disavow that. Okay, so this was a super chat from the 6th. Like 5 days ago, right? The identity of Jesus. Oh, thanks. Hassan here. He's putting it up for me. The identity of Jesus is a complex and deeply theological issue, writes someone with their coffee. Buymeacoffee.com/The Hake Report. Often interpreted in various ways within different Christian denominations. Many Christians believe the doctrine of the Trinity, which holds that God is one being in three persons, the Father, the Son, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. In this view, Jesus is considered God, one part of the triune Godhead. However, interpretations and beliefs can vary, and some may not hold this view. And then he quotes John 10:30-38, New International Version. And he skips some of the verses, but he writes, and he quotes the NIV, "Don't look down, don't be triggered to King James only people. Do not be distracted by it." I know the autism kicks in. Shout out to the autistic people. Greta Thunberg is distracted, and her autistic brethren. I and the Father are one. I'm reading his NIV version, okay? Jesus answered them, "Is it not written in your law, I have said you are gods?" I never understood that verse, but I remember Jesus saying that. If he called them gods, Jesus continues, according to the NIV, in John 10:34, 35, and so on. If he called them gods to whom the word of God came, lowercase g with capital G for word of God, and the scripture cannot be set aside, what about the one whom the Father set apart as his very own and sent into the world, referring to himself, Jesus? Why then do you accuse me of blasphemy because I said I am God's son? Do not believe me unless I do the works of my Father. But if I do them, even though you do not believe me, believe the works, that you may know and understand that the Father is in me and I in the Father. Nice, someone. I like that little message from Jesus. That leaves it pretty clear to me. He is the Son of God and not God the God. God the Father. It never says God the Son. Anyway, it says the Holy Spirit of God, but not God the Holy Spirit. Anyway, thank you again, someone with your coffee. That's cool. I and my Father are one. Ye are gods. Whoa. Say ye of him. Oh, I have the King James Version for you guys. King James Version only, people. You don't have to be distracted. Here it is. I and my Father are one. That means they're united. They're tight. It doesn't mean they're one and the same. Jesus is God believers. The Hake. Do you speak English? Is it not written in your law, I said, ye are gods? What does that mean? I wonder why you said that. Well, because they were trying to pretend. I think that isn't it interesting that the Pharisees, I've said this point a number of times, that the Pharisees or teachers of the law or whoever, Jews, took up stones to stone Jesus. They thought back in those days the same thing that you think. In your days, some of those of you who are like, oh, Jesus is saying he's God. For a good work we stone thee not, but for blasphemy, and because that thou, being a man, makest thyself God. That's not what he said. He said, is it not written in your law, I said, ye are gods? If he called them gods unto whom the word of God came, and the scripture cannot be broken, say ye of him whom the Father hath sanctified and sent into the world, Jesus, thou blasphemest, because I said I am the Son of God? See, he didn't say he's God, he's the Son of God. But the Jews and the so-called Christians think the same thing. And the Jews think that they're rejecting him because of what they misunderstand. And the Christians think they're accepting him because of what they misunderstand. But the Christians think the Jews knew exactly what he was saying. No, they were blind intellectuals. They couldn't accept the truth. If I do not the works of my Father, believe me not. But if I do the works of my Father, though ye believe not me, believe the works, that ye may know and believe that the Father is in me and I in him. Nice. Right on. Anyway, that's that super chat, and that's the King James Version for you KJV only people who say that's the most accurate whatever. I don't care. Phony intellectual Christians, just like the phony intellectual Jews. Blind, shallow, phony people. That's the world, though. Deception never ends. The deception is at every single level that you get to. There's deception. That's why you have to keep watch. Nice. Thank you, Hassan. And thank you to someone for your coffee. I hope that I did it justice. Same Jesus is God. People are like, oh, you keep on sinning. Even when the Bible says the opposite. And then they context the Bible out of being biblical. They say you're not biblical. Terrible. What a mess. What a mess. God in Jesus, not Jesus is God. God in Jesus. I do nothing but what the Father says. But people are puffed up and blind and stuck on their phony words. Anyway, another super chat. Well, this is an IG chat. Sorry I'm Sad 2014 says, SmackDown, cracking the whip. So domestic abuse? Domestic abuse? Or a white man hitting his black wife? What are you endorsing? Asks, Sorry I'm Sad 2014. Putting words in my mouth, just like the Jews, just like the Christians. The phony intellectual blind Christians. No! My favorite WNBA player is Lisa Leslie, says Sorry I'm Sad 2014. Oh, that explains it. Sorry I'm Sad 2014. SmackDown, put in the SmackDown, is this woman is talking smack on the internet, being unladylike, not being a mother and a wife, humble, quiet, and you stop the smack. Crack the whip. Metaphysically speaking, metaphorically speaking, of course. Hat tip to my competitor, with whom I'm with the feds who are shutting him down. By the way, did you know that? A little secret for you guys. This is outside of my bond work and JLP network. Okay, so they disavow what I'm doing, but behind the scenes, I'm calling the FBI and saying, "Shut it down." Shut down my competitor. I'm totally kidding. I'm kidding. Not funny. Too soon? I made my competitor cry. I'm kidding around. Anyway, that's enough of that. Thank you for the super chats. I see more have come in over on Buy Me a Coffee, but I got to get to Jaime in Minnesota on the line here. Jaime in Minnesota, thank you for calling. What is up?
Hey.
Hey.
How are you doing?
Doing fine.
Good. Hey, you know that sun with the flat Earth, the sun and the moon?
Yeah.
The flat earthers believe that the sun is much smaller and the moon is much smaller than what the scientists claim it is.
Yeah.
And so it just kind of moves around. And what I've heard is they don't know what it's made out of.
Oh, somebody said that it's a ball of energy. One of my flat Earth friends, my new flat Earth friends, believes it's a ball of energy. Which is,
so does that mean it's a ball of helium and hydrogen?
Oh, yeah. I don't know how specific they are about that.
Yeah.
Is that what the normal people believe?
Yeah. The scientists.
Yeah, the scientists believe that it's
hydrogen.
energy equals mass. Whoa. Dang.
Well, I don't know about all that. They say it's literally hydrogen. They don't say it's energy.
Yeah.
Hydrogen is an atom.
Oh. But E equals MC squared, or no? Or was that fake news from an unchristian person who came into America?
He definitely wasn't Christian.
Why do you say that? It sounds...
Because he was Jewish.
Oh. Touche.
Well, anyways, so they say that the sun just gives off light. That's it. And heat. It just does it.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Kind of like when you ask somebody, hey, how is Jesus God? You know, They just say, it is. That's it.
Oh. Huh.
So they don't give a very satisfactory reasoning.
Oh, okay. I can understand that. Because, well, it's, yeah. Huh.
Now, I could imagine that...
Are there any, out of curiosity, I want to know, are there any, like, astronomers who really understand astronomy and the patterns and things? Are any of them flat earthers?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay, yeah, I was just curious.
I don't know.
Just like there are no flat earthers down under. There is not one flat earther from Australia or New Zealand. Did you know that? That might be fake news, but
Really?
it's something that I say.
I had no idea. Yeah. So now, if the sun was a lot smaller, and it was still doing nuclear fusion through gravitational pull, I could buy that kind of. But then, they got calculations. So you'd have to have a certain amount of gravitational pull to fuse hydrogen into helium.
Uh-huh.
And the sun would necessarily have to be a certain amount of mass.
This is
so
beyond me.
If the sun is smaller, it wouldn't have enough gravitational pull to fuse hydrogen atoms.
Wow.
So that's kind of a sticking point with this flat Earth thing.
Huh.
Is their description of the sun and the moon
Yeah.
is malarkey.
Dang.
But they'd have to explain these things, and they'd have to explain what the light is coming from their smaller sun.
Oh, yeah,
What
they
is
say
that?
the moon gives off its own light, huh?
And that too. What is it? What is it? A photon? Is it a wave? Is it a particle? What is it? They have to explain it. They can't just say it's just whatever.
Oh, yeah.
They don't give explanation for it. So instead, they focus on stupid stuff that makes them,
Yeah.
stuff that they assume they can prove.
You know what?
But
I was just thinking about it. If I can interrupt you and tell you this little lesson that I learned. I was walking along the beach, maybe on Sunday or something, and I realized that Flat Earth Dave, who was on the Jesse Lee Peterson show the other week, a couple weeks ago, he proved ball Earth to me. Because I'm like, since the Earth is obviously a globe, that's why we see the crisp, beautiful horizon. And he showed me, well, actually, and he showed presumably from just a few feet above Earth, a few feet above sea level, they were looking off at the beautiful, crisp horizon and zoomed in on it, and so showed what he claimed to be dolphins jumping above the horizon. So dolphins were jumping above the horizon. If the Earth were flat, the dolphins wouldn't be able to jump above the horizon because the dolphins would be perpetually below the horizon because the horizon includes Mount Everest. Dolphins don't jump above Mount Everest. Mount Everest is well above sea level. And so where I stand is going to be between where I see and Mount Everest. So no dolphins are jumping above Mount Everest or other land.
Mount Everest is in Asia, man.
I know. I would see Mount Everest behind along the horizon. Mount Everest would look flat, of course, because of their idea about the vanishing point. I understand that, but Mount Everest.
Yeah, but the dolphins are closer to you, right?
Right, but they're not. But I'm not at sea level. I'm. Let's say I'm 5 feet tall, 6 feet tall. Don't say 5 feet, kids. Let's say I'm at 5 feet. What are they? Are they jumping 12 feet in the air? Dolphins. How high can dolphins jump? 6 feet?
12 feet.
12 feet?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Maybe they can jump above Mount Everest. Because of the triangle, right? The triangle from my view to how many miles out? How many miles out? Yeah.
Dolphins can slam a dunk.
12 feet times how many miles out are they? 3 miles out, 6 miles out, however many miles out?
Well, that's 36.
Okay, and then what does that make for Mount Everest?
Well,
To
Mount
clear
Everest is
in order to clear Mount
52
Everest.
52,000.
How high is that? Okay, okay.
50,
I can't figure out the
52,000.
triangle.
Well, did you subtract? Don't forget to subtract delta.
Hake's logic is making me crazy, says GMD Jim. 1-888-775-3773. Hake has never been to SeaWorld? I've been to SeaWorld, but I didn't see dolphins jump. I saw a shamu. What's delta? I only know, I don't know.
Weren't you homeschooled?
I
They
was.
didn't teach you about calculus?
No, I learned calculus in high school.
Okay.
Yeah, I forget what delta is. But anyway, yeah, I still don't think that they would be able to clear the anyway, whatever. It's still beautifully crisp.
Yeah. Well, the Jews. Yeah,
I've seen dolphins. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so they have to explain all these other things, and they got to do it in a satisfactory way, and they don't. The flat earthers.
Yeah.
Like the sun and the moon, they got to for the round Earth and solar system. They have these lead balls that are on strings.
Okay.
And they put other lead balls around it, and the heavier lead balls will pull the lighter lead balls and make it rotate, and that proves gravity.
Oh, wow.
So the gravitational pull. And so the sun would necessarily have to be a certain size to make planets go around it. And I don't believe any of this, but,
right.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
I think the Earth is on the back of a tortoise.
Oh, do you?
And it's just swimming through space.
So
none of that really matters.
That is so cool. And is the tortoise in water or is he in space?
Well, the tortoise is on top of another tortoise.
That's a cool picture. Nice, man.
So, but I was thinking about the Jewish people and that question about the tiny hat thing and all this other stuff. And there are religious Jews and people that think Jews are a race.
Yeah.
It used to be that they thought as a Jew was just religious, and they were always saying, "Oh, we're a religion."
Did it? I don't think that's the case
religion.
because I don't think that's entirely the case because they came from the tribe of Judah.
Right. And so in Israel now, there are people that affirm that, they did a study how many people say they're Jewish religious or Jewish not religious.
Yeah.
And it's something like 45% say they're not religious, but they call themselves Jewish.
Yep.
So they describe themselves as a race.
Yeah. Or an ethnicity or whatever.
Right. And so it's there are bad people in when you're just a race, you're pretty much an atheist.
Yeah.
If you're a religion, then you have a belief in a God or something.
True.
And atheism is a religion without a belief in a God.
Yeah.
So you have Jewish atheists because Jewish is a race.
Yeah.
And those people, they make up their own values.
Yeah.
Their own morals.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them...
And even the religious people make up their own values and morals, you'll notice. Side note.
They attribute it to God.
Right.
And they say it's because of God.
Yeah.
But so the atheistic Jewish people, they make up their own values and morals, like this George Soros guy. I'm not sure if he's religious or not. Let's just assume he's an atheist. He'll do things like allow people in or try to get people to come in.
Did you say you assume George Soros is atheist or religious?
No, I said I don't know if he's religious or atheist. Let's just assume.
Oh, okay. Atheist. I'm pretty sure he's atheist, but I could be wrong.
Okay. So even better.
But actually, I don't quote me on that. Sorry, I shouldn't have said it. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, let's just assume for the sake of conversation.
Yeah.
So he's going to use propaganda to push his value that him and his cronies, his other people, want to push. And it doesn't matter whether God believes it's right or wrong.
Yeah.
Because they don't believe in God.
Hang tight, callers. We'll get to you. Go ahead.
That's the final point that I wanted to make on the Jewish. And so calling somebody a small hat person, maybe they're talking about the religious one or are they talking about the non-religious ones?
No.
Whichever one.
Oh,
they're talking about the ones that they're traumatized by.
The people who say that.
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you confused?
No, not entirely confused. I've heard people say it. Like, there's a guy who's been on the JLP show who refers to them that way. Maybe he's the one who popularized it. And I think he does harbor. I think he admitted to harboring resentment toward them because it turned out his uncle or aunt or somebody bad who was bad in his family was Jewish. And so or his dad, I don't know, I forget what. But a lot of the times, Jewish people themselves become the most outspoken for the whites against their fellow Jews, you know? I've noticed that a lot because they know, you know your family, and I know my family, and I know white people, and I know liberals at Christian colleges. And so I can more confidently criticize those people because that's who I know, that's who I was close to, and I may even harbor some extra resentment because I was close to them, you know? So a lot of Jewish people are the most outspoken anti-Jewish people.
Because they know them better.
Because they know them better, and because they were traumatized by one another, you know?
Sure.
Yeah.
And, you know, these days now, it used to be way back when you said, when somebody said they were Jewish, you automatically thought, oh, this is a religious guy, you know?
Uh-huh.
And now it's changing. At least for me, now that I've gotten older, I see just because somebody says they're Jewish, that doesn't mean they're religious.
Right.
It just means they're saying either they're religious or they're that race.
Yeah.
Non-religious.
True.
Which is messed up. Because if you said that you were a Christian, you know that you're a religious person.
Right.
That's what you're getting at.
Yeah.
Not that you're the race Christian. There's no Christian race.
I don't really see the problem with it, though. Like, because people are...
There's a problem.
You think it's a problem?
Yeah, because
every
America,
Christian doesn't act very Christian. A lot of
and it's because people respect religion.
Oh.
You know, you don't step on other people's religion or their gods or whatever. You know, in a big way.
Sure.
But if you say you're Jewish,
but people don't step on each other's cultures or ethnicities necessarily either. Because you can't really help how you were born.
Not since that political correctness crap came about.
I know.
Well, we used to.
But we used to bash
amazing.
Religions too. We were like, oh, not a Christian.
You're not a normal Christian, more like a Catholic.
Right.
Or one of them dirty Lutherans.
Whoa.
Bringing everybody over here from out of the country. Want to save everyone, bring them over here.
That's not just
what
the
Lutherans do.
That's not just the Lutherans. But great call. Jaime in Minnesota, man. Appreciate you.
All right. You have a good day.
You too. Bye. Dang. Don't say that, kid. Sorry. I remember the first time I heard somebody say dang, and it kind of gave me, and it was actually not somebody like maybe in my family, and then it kind of gave me permission to start saying dang. I remember one person in my family, I won't name who, said, what the heck? And I was like, and then I started saying what the heck because I felt I had permission to say what the heck. Terrible. Anyway, I was exclaiming because I have a couple of callers whom I love getting to. Rika, also known as Frederick in Los Angeles, on the line. How you doing, Frederick?
What's going on with you, Hake?
Not much. How about you?
I'm doing all right, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Why do you focus on that one verse when Jesus calls himself, or whatever you think he called himself, the Son of God?
Right.
Yeah, right.
Why do I focus on that one verse?
Yeah.
I don't.
You know how many times Jesus called himself the Son of Man?
Oh, yeah. I remember him saying Son of Man. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That's cool,
like
huh?
over 80 times.
Yeah, I wonder why he kept on calling himself the Son of Man. Do you know why?
Because he is the Son of Man.
What's that mean? What does the Son of Man mean?
That means, just like you read in your verse over there, the Jews had it in their books that they were gods, little g's, and they was having babies out of wedlocks and not claiming their kids. And they was like, I'm the son of God. And they like, no, quit saying that. We ain't paying no child support. Quit saying you are kids. And the priest was having kids, and everybody thought they was the son of God.
Oh, yeah?
You know what thoracic means?
Oh, I know that there were other people claiming to be the Messiah. Was the Messiah, the Son of Man equals Messiah according to Falcon Ing? Son of Man was known as a saying for the Messiah? I thought it was sort of just a humble term. Son of Man, was that known from like the Old Testament predictions, prophecies or whatever, that it would be the Messiah? Is that what
they was the son of... Listen, when he was talking about the Jews being...
But I know that was the Messiah known to be the Son of God?
No, there was only one Son of God. It was S-U-N. They copied and made it S-O-N. You already know what I'm saying.
No, I don't. Yeah, why are you
talking about the guys?
So you think the Son that we were talking
was in the picture? Listen, that's when
you think this Son is the Son of God? Like God made this Son this beautiful sun right here?
That's why. That's like the flat earthers. We had it figured out, and all y'all did is come into our land and say, "No, the Earth is flat." We don't want to believe y'all.
I didn't never said
like
that.
This. No, in the Bible they wrote that it was flat. And
no, it didn't. Where in the Bible does it say it's flat?
The four corners of the earth is why they think it's flat. Come on, don't act slow.
That's not why they think it's flat. No, they said it's a circle. You're misquoting the flat earthers.
No, I already talked to
the flat earthers don't think that the earth is square. Only the black Hebrew Israelites think the earth is square.
No, black Israelites think the earth is square. Stop, Hake. You confused.
I'm not stopping anything.
Yeah, I know. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what y'all think. Y'all can have conversations on conversations.
But
about
you think that Christianity... Can I interrupt you to say you think Christianity is plagiarized from your whatever Pharaoh religion or whatever or something like that you think that you know?
I got proof.
But cannot great minds think alike? It doesn't have to be plagiarism because the truth is always available to be known. So anything that you happen to believe that may be true, I don't know, because you're so crazy, it's hard to know if you're even telling the truth.
Okay.
Yeah, but
look up
the truth. Hold on, let me make this point and have you respond to it.
Point. Okay.
The truth is available to all, and so a lot of people are going to find, like a few people are going to find the truth from everywhere. God made everyone, and He put the truth in them, and some of them find it within.
No, you ain't gonna find nothing that's not the truth.
Do you think only one group of people is gonna find the truth?
I think everybody is gonna find their resting place. Do you know what that means?
Does that mean the truth?
Yeah.
So everybody is gonna find the truth?
Their body's tuned to it, just like the animal. When it's lost, it finds its way home. Birds know where to go. Like in Jeremiah 50, chapter 6, it says the shepherds have misled the sheep from mountain to grazeland to where they forgot their resting place. Animals don't forget their resting place.
So are you aware?
Know their way home.
According to Kevin Howe and Falcon Ing, Jesus calling himself the Son of Man was a reference to being the Messiah from the Torah or something like that.
Yeah, there's a bunch of messiahs.
So is that true?
No Torah.
So is that true when he called himself the Son of Man, he was calling himself the Messiah?
No. It was a bunch of them calling themselves the Messiah. He's supposed to be the Son of God, right? Why would he call himself the Messiah and not the Son of God?
Because he's both.
He's fronting like this is your father. Quit calling yourself the Son of Man. That don't mean the Son of God. You saying he's not God.
It sounds like you understand even less than I have.
He's saying, I'm not even the Son of God. I'm the Son of Man. So why?
He
do
never
y'all
said, I'm
consider
not the
him
Son of God, I'm this. Wait a minute. Jesus never said, I'm not the Son of God, I'm the Son of Man. You're putting words
He
in
said,
Jesus'
I'm the
mouth.
Son of Man 80 times.
Yeah, but he didn't.
I'm the Son of God
The Son of
twice.
Man can also be the Son of God.
No, it can't. How can the Son of Man be the Son of God?
Because Adam was a son of God, and Jesus is the second son of God.
No, he says Son
Well,
of
he's
Man
the firstborn,
80
but
times.
you know
I think he knows what
he's the
saying
second
when
Adam.
He says a man. If you want to comprehend the Son of Man as being the Son of God, then everybody is the Son of God. If you say the Son of Man means the Son of God,
You're black.
everybody's the Son of Man.
You're black and crazy.
I'm wondering how you interpret.
Were
the
you
word
raised Christian?
Son of Man 80 times. Jesus says, "I'm the Son of Man 80 times." But you cling on to he's the Son of God.
No. I like
All
Son of
right.
Man. I really like that. I don't want to dismiss that, of course.
I don't know. Like in Matthew, Luke. He says
I don't.
it
I
20
like it. I
times in
just don't
Matthew,
understand Son of Man. It doesn't
15
sound
times in Luke.
Rika. And I call you Rika because because Mr. The Madman
cool.
calls you Rika.
I like it.
Yeah, I like it too,
Yeah,
especially for short, you know. Okay,
For sure.
but Frederick,
Go ahead.
it sounds like you don't understand what Son of Man means. I know I don't really understand it. I kind of like the phrase. I like the fact that he called himself that. Hey, he called himself in third person, kind of like Hake. Hake talks in third person too. I'm just like Jesus. But you don't really seem to understand what Son of Man thing means. You just make assumptions and talk like you know when you don't know. That's how you come off anyway.
It's plain English, and if you don't want to interpret the way you see it,
But Jesus didn't speak English. Did Jesus speak English?
If you don't interpret the way that you see it printed, I can't help you. I don't understand why y'all like putting words.
Did he say Son of a Man or just Son of Man?
Are you asking me?
Because you're talking about if you can't understand English, why would he call himself Son of Man when it makes more sense to say the Son of a Man?
Mankind, not a mankind. Would you say I'm a son of a mankind?
Nice. I like that. Hey, see, you do understand more than Hake a little bit.
No,
Rika?
You just talk slow to like.
No.
Anyway,
I'm with you.
Listen. Do you know what the word thoracic means?
Thoracic.
Mm-hmm.
No. Thoracic, it has to do with like the body?
It has to do with like thoracic. It's
What's the thorax?
Angelic.
It's related to the thorax, the part of the body.
It had done no wrong.
The thorax, the part of the body of a mammal between the neck and the abdomen, including the cavity enclosed in the ribs, the breastbone, dorsal vertebrae.
Listen. I'm gonna spell it for you. SERAPHIC.
S.
Thoracic.
Wait. S is in. Wait. Use your military. You're a military man.
Sierra, Echo, Romeo, Alpha, Papa, Hotel, India, Charlie, Seraphic.
Resembling a seraph or the seraphim. You said Sierra, Echo, R.
Sierra,
A, P, H, I, C.
Romeo, Alpha, Papa, Hotel. Yeah, it's angelic. It's after Serapis.
Seraphic, like the seraphim.
Yeah, it's after Serapis, the God.
Angelic being.
Before Jesus.
The angelic being.
Angelic. Yeah, that's the Jesus before. That's the guy before Jesus. There was gonna be the angelic being. That's what seraphic means. The Jesus-like face or the Jesus sound. It's angelic, and they knew what it was before Jesus. So it's Christ-like. It's real. I'm gonna make that my business name. Seraphic energy.
You're making me blush.
All right, have a good day.
All right, you too. Thank you.
All
right, bye. I really didn't understand his last point. My bag. Nice. Thoracic Park. No, he was saying seraphic, I guess. Seraphim. The serifs. Sans serif. No, that's a different word. Anyway, Rick in Hampton, Virginia is on the line here. Rick, thank you for calling and holding, man. It's good to hear from you, I think. Rick is not ready, I don't think.
Yeah, see, like, after 10, I don't think I
Yeah, I don't think he's ready. Can you check on Rick or just hang up on him, have him call back, whatever? No Rick. Not ready. You know what? Let me take a quick break. I haven't played LN in a while. This is LN, Gary Murray, you know, which is the song that I wanted to play. Christmas Tiger. Christmas Tiger. How long is this song? I think I have time to do that. It's just like a 1-minute break. Hope you enjoy it, you musical Philistines. It's LN Tuesday. LN, love Neptune. I disavow that, but LN, I like the word LN. Be right back. This is from the 2000 or 1999 album Novel, or 2002 something. I hope you enjoy it, you musical Philistines. Be right back in a minute. See you soon.
Leave me alone. I can walk by myself. I don't need a crutch. Love this time. Sing my song loud enough to drown out all your screams. I won't be Christmas tiger. I won't sit on my hands, and I won't be your fool.
Isn't that nice? Hey, Chris found it on Apple Music. Christmas Tiger by LN. Yeah, that was from Velvet Blue Music. REM wannabes. Whatever, man. What the H, Hake? Oh, that's a Raymond 11. I shouldn't even. Anyway, thank you, guys, for bearing with me through the beautiful music. Pretty and sad, indeed. Some super chats over on buymeacoffee.com/The Hake Report. Truck driver says, Senor James, are you going to cover the politics of Copa America? Copa America? Starting next week? Here are some stories. The U.S. men's national team filled the stadium with rainbow flags, banners, and numbers on their T-shirts in all LGBT colors. Colors. And he spells it the Canadian or British or English way, not American way. Colors. O-U-R-S. They also suspended a game because Mexicans yelled a word that means gay. Oh, sorry. When goalkeeper kicks the ball. Also, my favorite colors are snake versus German. Nice. That's cool. Thank you, truck driver. He says, great show, James. It keeps getting better and better. That's kind, truck driver. And he's a flat earther, by the way. Senor James. Thank you, truck driver. Oh, wow. Thanks for the tips. U.S. men's national team. And isn't the U.S. men's national team, doesn't it have that one guy who's really good? I can't think of his name. Soccer. Football. The globo homos call it football. But we Americans, nationalists, call it soccer. Anyway, nice. Thank you, man. Yeah, they're like, oh, FIFA against racism. Stupid. Don't say that too much, kids, parents. Yeah, there's so many different words for gay in Mexican that I once made a joke, and I'll repeat it here, that the Mexicans have as many words for gay as the Eskimos do for snow. Because you know that Eskimos have at least several, maybe more than several, maybe like 12 or 20 or something. Maybe 10, 9, 6, 5, 7. Different words for snow based on the different type of snow that it is, because they live in the snow and they know snow and they have to deal with snow and they have to communicate about the snow. And so I kid that the Mexicans know all these different words for gay, but it's not really a fair accusation. It's just a joke, okay? But there's a lot of that happening in Mexico, I guess, because they're so sexual. And they're also woman-led. So I think that there's a lot of that mess happening even in Mexico. It's not just it's happening all over the world. It's a mess. Thank you, truck driver. I guess I won't use the different words for gay that I learned from my coworkers at my old job. Popcorn Thump Keg bought a coffee. Always enjoy those. Over the weekend, I visited a Chick-fil-A, base restaurant. Is it base to visit Chick-fil-A? There was an elderly woman at the counter ahead of me, who was struggling to communicate her order with the server. She had an application open on her cell phone, that allowed her to speak into the microphone in her native language, and the English translation would be spoken to the cashier. Fancy. She was able to get her order clarified, and she looked so relieved. That wasn't a good relief thing. That looked crazy. Setting aside the xenophobic or xenophobic things that people say, and strictly looking at the technology aspect, I thought it was really cool to see how advancements in technology have impacted our daily lives. Wanted to ask a question about intelligence versus intellectual. As someone who works in tech, you have to question repeatedly, the assumptions that you make in order to ensure the systems you build will perform reliably under many different circumstances. One could view that as listening to the thoughts or being caught up in thoughts. Interesting. What's the difference between being intelligent and intellectual? And isn't it subjective about whether or not a thought is practical or not? It depends on the situation. It definitely depends on the situation, because you're right. As a scientist or a computer person, and you're setting up if this, then that, this and this and this and this, then that, or these things, then that, and this, not necessarily that. You do have to consider all possibilities, as many as you can, and accommodate. So that would be a tool, the imagination being a tool, a practical tool for that. And that is definitely practical. There are clearly impractical thoughts. A whole lot of people become perfectionist. Anybody know a perfectionist? Where they're just going beyond the law of diminishing returns. You know the law of diminishing returns, where they're just pouring over and over and over and over and things, and getting kind of caught up on detail and missing the big picture. Terrible. Perfectionist is I use the word perfectionist in a bad way in that sense, because it's completely imperfect. The big picture is completely imperfect, but they're caught up on some dumb detail or words or whatever, when missing the meaning and trying to force somebody to apply a meaning that they don't mean with a word. Like when I said put the smack down and crack the whip. Candace Owens' white husband should put the smack down and crack the whip. And I was searching for the right word to say, but because those aren't exact, I suppose those are good uses of it. But the Sorry I'm Sad 2014 thought that was terrible to say. Cracking the whip, though, could really come off as a racist, says Sorry I'm Sad 2014. And that is because you're caught up in words and assigning meaning that's not intended. Or you're getting trolled. You might be getting trolled, And you don't want to get trolled and distracted too much by anybody. I hope that helps, Popcorn Thump Keg. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool story. Fun story. Yeah, I heard American Anchor Baby had his mama using that thing, or he was using it with her to translate JLP to her. Isn't that nice? Sweet. Something like that. I don't know. Thank you, Popcorn Stump Cake. Always interesting, man. To me. I don't know about other people. Before I get to calls, back to calls. Is Brittney Griner really a deadbeat? I don't know if I buy this. Shout out to Amazing Asia. Who, oh, gosh. I have to show you guys this picture of her younger. She looks way better now. I think. I guess, whatever. Well, this one picture of her just looks not right to me. I'm dragging this screenshot into the folder there, Hassan. It's called Screenshot. Brittney Griner, CNN falsely calls her, very fake news, a WNBA star. I mean, if you're a star in the world of the WNBA, I guess you could call yourself a WNBA quote-unquote star. But aren't stars supposed to shine outside of the WNBA? She hardly shined. She did not shine outside the WNBA in my consciousness. This gal, 33 years old. See, I don't like the... Looks more like a dude in that first picture on the left, just with a wild, silly, almost Ronald McDonald haircut, and just not quite right. But this other one, I like... that's what I was... This one up top, if you're looking at the video feed, she looks, you know, like mildly attractive. She, you know, not a bad-looking gal. You know, a dark-skinned white. She's a dark-skinned white. Hat tip to our greatest producer, former producer, of course, Sean. 6'9". That's one tall. And you're not supposed to say glass of water because people are so vulgar nowadays. But she's tall. She plays basketball. Oh, that's her. Oh no. I just looked at the photograph below, the lower right. My lower right anyway, yours too. And I'm like, who's that guy? Oh, that's not a guy. Terrible. A little bit mannish. But we wish her well. She has all these tattoos on her arm, but she's young, you know. My point though in bringing this up is because Amazing Asia sent this coffee yesterday late, calling her sort of, you know, deadbeat. A deadbeat who begged her first so-called wife to have a baby when the wife, she had twin girls with health issues. Griner left her to be a single mom. Sounds so much like a typical black dude, so says Amazing Asia. Wow, bashing the typical black dudes. How come when a black gay woman tries to be a man, they choose to be degenerate rather than a regular man who stand on business? Anyway, great show per usual, Hake. That's kind. Amazing Asia. So, deadbeat. I don't find the word deadbeat in Wikipedia, so I think you're giving fake news, Amazing Asia. Because Wikipedia, if it's not in Wikipedia, it's not true. Kidding around. But, yeah, she was bullied as a child because she was mannish, being different, tall. And she was into this false thing called sexuality. She's like 33 or something like that. Of course, 33. She was protesting Breonna Taylor and George from Florida and all that mess. All the phony Black Lives Matter stuff. So she got engaged to fellow NBA player Glory Johnson in 2014, 10 years ago. In 2015, they were both arrested and charged with assault and disorderly conduct after police responded to a fight between the two in their suburban home in Phoenix. See, these people invade our suburbs. No, whatever. They can afford it, I guess. What a mess. That's why we need to enforce... Never mind. I'm not going to bring up segregation right now. Despite this incident, they, quote-unquote, married the following month. What? Oh, so they were living together out of fake wedlock. And then they had fake wedlock the following month in 2015. And they were both suspended by the WNBA after Griner pleaded guilty to disorderly conduct charges. Had to take 26 weeks of DV counseling, domestic violence, because a whole lot of... Is lesbos offensive? You're not supposed to say that, huh? I kind of like how it sounds, though. I think that they probably like how it sounds, too. A lot of them are domestically violent, so quote unquote. Especially, black, angry. Blacks are encouraged to be angry. Women are encouraged to be angry. And then the LGBTs, so-called LGBTs, encouraged to be angry. So they have triple the encouragement to be angry that normal people have. Anyway, terrible. So somehow this Glory Johnson gal got pregnant with twins, conceived with her own Glory Johnson's eggs through in vitro fertilization because they have to go outside of their so-called sexuality in order to have a baby. So it's not Griner's. And then less than a month of marriage, Griner filed for Brittney Griner, this gal, filed for annulment of the marriage, citing fraud and duress. The annulment was denied. She gave birth, preemies, babies, and she was ordered to pay child support. Why? Okay, I don't agree with child support, but anyway, it's a mess. Whatever. They're too... Well, actually, they're not rich because they're WNBA, right? Terrible. And then they finalized this so-called divorce of this so-called marriage in 2016. And then she got with another gal in 2018 and so-called married to this woman, Sherelle Watson, who changed her name to Sherelle Griner. Ugh. And now, 2024, Griner and her quote-unquote wife, Sherelle, announced a pregnancy. What a mess. But I don't know, it doesn't say anything about how she is, whether she's paying quote-unquote child support, and I don't know, it's a mess. Divorce and remarriage is evil. And it's not even real, and so that's evil on evil. Terrible. They're rich from sponsor deals, says Falcon Ing. So that's, but I don't necessarily agree with the deadbeat. There's no such thing as deadbeat dads. Don't you know, Amazing Asia? You know what I mean? There's no such thing. Deadbeat lesbianism. No, there's none of that. Like Joelle Friday said, there is no... You are not LGBT. You're just lost. If you want to be hung up on that, you want to hold on to that false identity, fine. But it's not reality. And everybody's selfish. It's not like this Glory Johnson gal is... who is the mother of the twins, the preemie twins, premature. It's not as if this Glory Johnson gal is this innocent victim. They're a bunch of two evil people. You know what I mean? That's JLP talk. That's right, it's JLP talk. He's right about that. Shout out to Amazing Asia. It is... I'll tell you she's selfish. How about that? Meet in the middle. Meet in the truth. She's selfish. A selfish woman. Because I can agree with that. That's probably a safe assumption. Most people are caught up with this idea of self. And they're all into making themselves feel good and all that mess. Brittney had kids before Hake? No proof. No proof. Because she didn't carry any babies. And she didn't give her any eggs to make any babies. And that's evil science stuff. All right, so that's that story. That's a dude, Hake. No, don't say that. Okay. Oh, yeah, there was something else I wanted to point out before I get to calls. Hang tight, callers. So I saw this clip. I think I saw it on TKR Official on Telegram. Don't think he's Christian. This dude got messed up. He's on this stream preaching, enjoy responsibly. He's like holding up this cup. Not this cup. This one that says the Hake Report with a monkey covering his ears. Beautiful monkeys. Shout out to the monkeys. La la la. Get yours, thehakereport.com, Teespring. And this is not liquor. And I don't know why they call it liquor. But anyway, this is water. But don't have too much water. Show this picture. There's a screenshot of this tweet. It's a before and after from of this guy who got messed up. Let's see. Before and after streamer drinking. I censored the drinking. I censored the name. You guys don't know him. Nobody knows who it is. Before and after edit from Blake Arthur Peel. What's happened to so-and-so is a poignant example of the importance of the word of wisdom. He capitalizes the word word and he capitalizes the word wisdom. Don't know exactly what he's referring to, but anyway, he says, poor guy, hope he gets the help he needs. And it's this man with color on his face, a white man. Probably not a Christian. Maybe not a, he's ethnically different from normal white. And he's like holding up this glass saying, this substance does not control you. You control yourself. If you can't handle it, don't have it. If you need a break from it, take a break from it. But it's fine. And he's doing it on the stream. And then later, it shows him all messed up. Months later, maybe a year later, don't know. Because this is from June of 2023, about a year ago. And then later, like present day or supposedly, I don't know, he's like messed up. And again, you guys don't know who it is. Don't be saying who it is. Some of you guys know who it is. But anyway, it's not responsible. And he's like, be responsible. He's preaching enjoy. And it reminds me of what JLP says, should a man seek pleasure? No, you shouldn't seek pleasure. And you're holding this up thinking, oh, I'm being responsible with this. Even though you're drinking on stream. Because this is him drinking on stream. And it was more than just drinking, I think. It went into other things. Not good, right? But it's a mess. It became a mess. He was just messed up. Not looking right. And just face all dry, wrinkly, pale. And out of it. And it's kind of rough to see a man or woman messed up like that. Oh, it's terrible to see a woman like that. But it's you know a man is on a low point when he's doing that. Messed up like that. It's, just like destroying himself, seeking relief or pleasure or whatever it is. And you know when you do something, you get carried away with it. I censored the alcohol. He called himself, hopefully I'm not doxing him by saying this, but he called himself Chief of Tomfoolery. Yeah, I'll say that again. This is not Tom from Tomfoolery, whom I interviewed, by the way. But that's not right. I disavow that. Rika, terrible. Hake, I totally don't know that this is... What's my point? A whole lot of people can intellectualize, and he didn't say anything technically false, I guess. But there is wisdom to the Christian-y Christians, or the people who are just sensible, not to set a bad example in front of everybody like that. Drinking on stream, you know? I'm laughing because people in the chat, the D-Live crew, the redheaded stepchildren crack me up. They're funny. Never heard of them. I've known Christians, you know, like I grew up in a family that nobody that I knew, I never saw or even hardly even heard about them drinking at all. I remember, you know, like at weddings, Martinelli's sparkling apple cider. And you can call it overboard, but a lot of people are wiser and better off not drinking at all. And not doing the pot at all. And not doing the cigarettes at all. I remember hearing, my grandpa, he tried it once and didn't like it, the cigarettes. Smoking. Nice. And I remember hearing about different people who wouldn't drink at all in front of people. Or just at all, period. Because they didn't want to set a bad example or be a temptation to other people. And you can, I get that you can be like silly about it or whatever. You can be temperate. You can have temperance, self-control. But it's also, you're not hurting yourself not doing it at all. I think I saw it on TKR Official. Azzmador said, just don't do it at all. That's his advice. And he's not an unwise man in that advice. He's a wise man with that advice, I think. Because evil grows, it sneaks up on you, you know? I like sparkling apple cider. It's good. Yeah, right? You taste this like champagne. Ugh! Anyway, just like a little warning, you know, just like, wow, what not to do. Christians sort of had the right idea, avoiding it altogether, not being a temptation to others, stuff like that. And people are like, oh, poor guy, I hope he gets the help he needs. Something feels wrong about that, too. Something feels wrong about getting the help